Welcome. So this is Dylan Does Table Talk, where we will be basically speaking about the unspoken struggles that where majority of us face, or even the minority face, that we rarely talk about. So I'm your host Dylan. Welcome. This is episode 1. So we'll unpack the real, raw, and often overlooked moments that shape our lives. So join me daily at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss these hidden struggles with honesty, empathy, and a touch of hope. So let's get started with today's first episode. So it is all about loneliness in a hyper-connected world. So in today's society, especially the digital age of everything and how everything is just streamlined at our fingertips, it's very easy to feel like we've got a massive connection with our social medias, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, or formerly known as Twitter, or even just simply Facebook. It's very easy to feel connected within these platforms. And it's often that when we do step out into the real world, outside, in social settings, it's very easy to feel like we are isolated in a sense where in comparison to that digital world, it's a stark difference between the two. So online we can just jump on, we can search for anything that we might want to, delve into, whether it be fitness, whether it be movies, television, food, travel. Like there's always going to be someone out there that is creating some sort of content that you want to kind of not delve into, but more connect with. So that is pretty much the why the world is so fixated on a digital world, as it is very easy to feel connected. But as soon as we step back into reality, having days off from work, or, just days off from school, university, whatever, if we're not around family or friends, like it's very easy to feel isolated in that sense. So that is why I've kind of started up this series and this daily talk show where I just kind of speak about, as I said, the unspoken struggles that majority of us face. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in today's world, that we do feel lonely and we do feel isolated in, just reality in general. We might go to work, a social interaction with customers, other work colleagues, but, sometimes deep down we might still feel like we are just ticking by and just getting by, and we're just there just to kind of fill a role with no real drive or motivation or purpose to, interact on a more deeply level with people, in these sort of settings. As if we were to quit our job, we'll be virtually replaced within a week or two, a couple of weeks. The hiring process kind of starts straight away. So it's almost like there's no real incentive to kind of engage in that kind of friendship, especially with work colleagues, in a sense. As as soon as you leave work, basically, how often, put your hands up, how often do we actually interact with people outside of work, like once we've left the job or they've left the job, or even, if you're still working with them. Like it's very rare that, we'll go home and we'll have a conversation with a work colleague for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, messaging, sharing videos back and forth. Like it's very rare. And it's even rarer that, once you do leave a position, like you don't really socialize with them anymore. And for me personally, like that has happened numerous times over the past, where you leave a job and you say, we'll keep in touch, we'll catch up, yada yada. But how often does that actually eventuate? It doesn't. As so, it's very, in that regard, it's very senseless, in a sense that, why do we work when, no real connection is formed with our work colleagues? As, when we do leave, that's pretty much it, hands are clean. Like there's no real, friendship or even just a connection with these people. And, that's not only just in a work setting, that's in a school setting. I've been out of school for 15 odd years now. I'm 30 years of age, or 12 years actually out of school. So it's like, how often do we still socialize with people that we went to school with? Like as soon as these sort of circumstances finish, it's everything kind of dissipates. So that's why I feel like a lot of people, they feel so connected, when they jump online. It's easy to have that sense of belonging, which is imperative for obviously numerous different reasons, like, for the mental health and just a mental clarity that, if we jump online, we can actually see someone else that's kind of in a similar sort of situation, that they are potentially struggling as well and their voice is unheard. But we got to take a step back and realize at the same time, it's like, if the internet goes off, electricity goes off, power grid goes off, it's like we're isolated again. And I feel like, especially during the 2020 years, in those periods of time where a lot of people did feel isolated, I feel like a lot of people are still trying to climb out of that isolation and get that courage again to kind of get out there and actually engage with other people in the real world. Like, it's very, like, people are very, not self-centered, but very in their own tunnel vision-esque, so to speak. Like, there's times where I'll go to the supermarket or even a petrol station or wherever, and you just ask, for example, a simple question like, how's your day going? And people are so robotic in a sense where they're programmed to say the same thing. Oh, is that all for today? It's like, it's not really what I ask. So it's like, it's very hard when people are so, not everyone, obviously, like, it is a minority of people, but for the most part, like, it's very hard to engage with people when people are just so in autopilot that they don't actually recognize what you're actually saying. So and I feel like that's, this whole hyper connected world, especially in the digital age, where people are just used to just scrolling and just not really understanding the core principles of what it's like to actually engage with another individual in the real world. Like, it's very rare that, friendships and all that sort of stuff are formed. Like, it's easy to say to someone, oh, I'm here if you ever need to talk, rah, rah, rah. But how often do people actually reach out when they actually do need to reach out? Like, I feel like it's empathetic in a sense where it's good that people offer that, but how often would that actually be there if needed? Like, it's probably more on the 50-50 side. People go through certain things in life. People might be busy with family, friends, work, on holidays, all this sort of stuff that, it's in their control. But when people say, like, I'll be there if you ever need a chat or rah-de-rah, it's like, it's not, I feel like for the most part, like, it's that they're just saying it out of goodwill. But for the most part, like, I feel like they won't actually kind of be there if things really, really hit a point in life where some individuals feel like their voice is just simply not heard. And especially, I feel like men these days, like, a lot of our problems that, we go through, or even just that we face on a day-to-day, or even a week-to-week or year-by-year stasis, like, if we don't have some sort of purpose or some sort of drive to achieve our goals, whether it be short-term or long-term, like, I feel like, for the most part, like, we do feel very isolated as individuals in today's society. And it's very sad to see that, there's so many people out there that, they look online and they think to themselves, well, I'm not, where I should be, or, these people are doing better than me in certain avenues and sort of aspects in life, whether it be financial status, relationship status, family status, all these sort of different calibers that measure an individual. Like, I feel like comparison in these sort of detriments, it's very insignificant in a sense that, it's just destroying you before you even start. And starting anything in life is always the hardest part. But once that journey started, it's so much easier to maintain and keep developing into the person that you should always strive to become. So, it's one quote that I always hold deeply, and I'll kind of just end episode 1 on this quote. Now, it was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a show that I did actually watch on a daily basis, and it's pretty ironic that the person that kind of said it, their surname was Fitzsimmons, and Simmons is my last name. So I kind of hold this quote and I say to myself every single day, it's like, the steps that we take, they don't need to be big. They just got to take us in the right direction. So whether it be, starting a gym for the first time, so you want to lose some weight or get stronger or just fitter and just clear that mental health battle that we all face, or even just starting a new passion project. Like, this is episode 1. I contemplated doing this for numerous times, but, I thought to myself, what's the point? And then I started making my fitness content every day, my gaming content every day. And I said to myself, you know what? People are going to gravitate towards you one way or another, but you just got to start. And starting is always, as I said, the hardest part. But once you do start, it's so much easier just to continue building that momentum and becoming better. And ultimately, when we all are doing better in life, everyone strives, and it's easy to look at others and be like, you know what, I'm doing well, they're doing well, we're all doing well, society is thriving. And when we're all thriving in life, life in general is so much better. So if you got any passions or any goals, like stop holding back, just start it. Record. It's easy enough to record, yourself, in a setting where, you're by yourself. Like I'm literally just at the dinner table, and this is going to be the whole purpose of this channel, is just simply talking and just discussing at the table. Dylan does table talk. Like it's simple as that. I've got no fancy, flashlights or ring cameras, those LEDs, or a high tech camera. I'm just recording on my iPhone 16. I've got a simple Kmart board here with a little bit of writing, a little bit of thing at the back there. Like you don't need the fancy gadgets to start anything. You just got to start, and everything in life eventually happens if you just do it. It's as easy as that. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching episode 1. Episode 2 will be out tomorrow as well. So as I said, every day, hopefully, as long as I keep formulating ideas, it'll be posted at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I feel like that's when a lot of people, for the most part, would have their dinner. So I feel like, it's only fitting that, I'm at the table, at the dinner table, having conversations with you. Anyway, have a great day, guys, and all the best. And until tomorrow's video, bye-bye.